Bruiser TV is on. Sean Boomer Bratton along with the son of a legend, Dick the Bruiser. And this is going to be fantastic, Bruiser. All the superstars of Bruiser Wrestling right here in one place on Bruiser TV.
Well, you got the great Akuma coming out right now. Talk about a mysterious guy. Look at him. He is scary. I hate to meet him in the dark alley. How about you?
I would run the opposite direction about as fast as I possibly could. What we're seeing right now, Bruiser, we are seeing Bruiser Wrestling and Malice, the opponent for the great Akuma, making his way to the ring. We're seeing superstars all across the world. They want to make their mark, and they know to make the mark, they've got to do it here in Bruiser Wrestling to face the toughest competition. And I tell you what, as much as we like the great Akuma, as scary, as mysterious as this guy is, he's got his work cut out for him, taking on Malice.
Malice is a tough contender. He's been in Bruiser Wrestling for some time now. He's beaten just about everybody there is. So this is going to be one great matchup here. Bruiser Wrestling has gone international. It's just not here in the United States. It's global. I tell you what, it's the greatest.
And this match is coming up next. And we're going to see that, Bruiser, next week on Bruiser TV. You and Casey Thunder, the Bruiser Wrestling Tag Team Champions, taking on Andy Shane and the partner du jour, whatever you go through partners more than I go through underwear. He's going to team up with Kenny Cage next week.
Well, two tough opponents. I tell you what, for Thunder and myself, it's going to be a championship match. All I have to say is they talk like they're talking stupid. You know what? I think one his name is Mo and one his name is Ron.
Well, here's the thing, Bruiser. We know that you have a history with Andy Shane that goes back quite some time here in Bruiser Wrestling, and he would want nothing more than to take those tag team titles from you and Casey Thunder. And if he feels like whatever partner he has last week is not up to the task, he's going to go out and find a new partner, because his mission is to get those titles off of you and KC. But I tell you what, if anyone's up to the challenge, it's you and Casey Thunder.
You bet, you bet. You're right, he changes partners like he changed underwear.
You know, and that's not that often, but yeah, for him, still, yes, he's going through partners quite a bit.
Whether weekly, whether you need it or not.
Exactly. I do keep my name sewn in there, Bruiser. That way I know that it's actually mine. Now, what we're seeing right now, Malice taking on the great Akuma here in Bruiser Wrestling. Look at that now, the great Akuma at ringside, and it looks like he's sliding something as the referee was diverted, sliding something into that wrist tape, so who knows what's in there right now.
It's some type of foreign object he's bringing into the ring. I'm sure he's going to use it at some time on Malice.
Bruiser, I have to ask you this as we look on two great competitors here this week on Bruiser TV. You know that when someone is in Bruiser Wrestling, the person they set their sights on is you. So I'm sure at some point, now we know it's not going to be next week because you have Andy Shane and Kenny Cage next week, but at some point in the near future, do you think, the great Akuma is going to issue a challenge to the son of a legend?
Well, you know what? Everybody that comes in and wants to be a top contender always wants to make threats, make a challenge to the Bruiser. You know what? They need to get back in the line because there's always somebody right before you. And you know what? I will take on all challengers. He'll get his chance with me. I'll strand on his eyeball just like I do Andy Shane when he gets in.
And the one thing, Bruiser, is you're still here, and a lot of these other challengers that have come through, I don't know what's happened to them. So one right after the other, you tend to dispatch them. And I tell you what, though, this great Akuma, he really does, the mysterious, the Oriental background. We've seen him fooling around with some sort of foreign object, and we can get a glimpse of that right there that was stuck into his wrist tape going after Malice. I tell you what, Bruiser, though, if anyone's up to the task, as I've said time and time again, it is going to be you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all the confidence. I need it, and we all can use it. These two contenders right here, they will be in Bruiser Wrestling to stay. You can just tell that both are tough, both know the rules. I don't know if they know the rules or not, but they know how to wrestle. I tell you what, they know the wrestling rules.
One thing about Akuma, he really reminds me of a very young great Muta. A lot of acrobatic maneuvers, a lot of spin kicks. Of course, then you always have to worry about that dreaded green mist. Nice reversal, though, on the part of Malice. The thing working for Malice is his size. He is massive. Great reversal, boot right into the sternum, and the great Akuma goes down. Malice, I've had a chance to stand next to Malice. He is tall, he is ripped, he spends a lot of time in the gym, and you can tell right now just by the way he hoisted up Akuma, then that sit-out body slam. Malice rolls over, goes for a cover, hooks the leg, not enough to put away the great Akuma.
Akuma by no means is small. He's
No.
over 200 pounds. It's just that Malice is 6'4", 5", 275 pounds.
Well, that's a great point. When you look at Akuma next to Malice, Akuma looks like he gives up a lot of size. Akuma next to, even a person who you see in the gym that's really fit would put that person to shame.
You bet. This is going to be one tough match. Both these guys are tough competitors. They both have a winning record here in Bruiser Wrestling. Either one would be a great opponent for them.
And the great Akuma has Malice right where he wants him, draped over that middle rope, choking him out, using that leg for additional leverage on the back of Malice, and that kick right, and that quick, just snapping those kicks off right to the side of the head of Malice, backing him up into a corner. Malice, though, firing back. What is that, a size 14 Bruiser at least?
Maybe 15 or 16. He is big.
But look at that again, the quickness from Malice, just driving those elbows, the point of the elbows right into Malice. And once again, Malice is reeling. This is great back and forth action. The stamina, the conditioning of these wrestlers, absolutely amazing. That was fantastic. The elevation he got on that.
By the way, you know what they say about wrestlers with big feet?
What do they say about wrestlers with big feet?
They wear big wrestling shoes.
Exactly. Exactly. And for Malice, I'm sure he can't walk into, say he just wants to get a pair of regular tennis shoes, pair of Nikes, pair of Adidas. He can't walk into the Foot Locker and buy a pair off the rack. He's got to go and get stuff specially made because he's so massive with his, custom wrestling boots. This guy is just an impressive physical specimen, and it's great to see two high-caliber athletes right here in Bruiser Wrestling.
You know what, I think this great Akuma has had some training by Bruiser, and also I think Pat Tanaka has actually worked with him, and that's why you can see a little bit of both of these wrestlers in Akuma.
Well, think about that, if Pat Tanaka, the influence he has had on the great Akuma. Pat Tanaka is one of the most devious guys that I know. So imagine his protege, how devious he would make him.
You're going to see Pat Tanaka back in the Bruiser Wrestling again. And so, you know what? I bet you that Akuma will be at his side.
I like Pat Tanaka for his athleticism, for his ability, for the things that he tends to do during a match, not so much so. The throwing the salt, the cheating. Pat Tanaka, the master of basically every underhanded tactic in the book. And Bruiser, you're well too familiar with that, aren't you?
You bet. You bet. We both spent many nights in the hospital.
Exactly. I've been there for many of those occasions, and we've seen you versus Pat Tanaka on a few occasions here on Bruiser TV, and that'd be something I'd love to see us go back and maybe, get some of those tapes out from the vault and take a look at those again, because it's always a pleasure watching you in the ring, which we'll see next week. It's also a great pleasure to see Pat Tanaka in the ring, very fluid. Akuma goes in, Malice after him, big clothesline. I thought he was going to flip him up and over to where Akuma was going to go outside the ring, head first.
He bounced about 5 feet in the air. Is it next week? We got Ron
and Mo.
Well, Mo and Ron.
Mo and Ron. Which one is Mo? Is Andy Shane Mo, and then Ron is Kenny Cage?
I don't take your pick.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter, does it? And look at now, setting him up, powerbomb maybe. But look at that now. Akuma just floats back, drops down all of his weight on Malice, hooks a leg, and Akuma is your winner out of nowhere. I thought Malice was going to put him away with the powerbomb. Had him up, maybe didn't have him all the way, and I can't wait to see the replay on this. What Akuma did as he starts to gnaw on that middle rope, all Akuma did was ride that all the way down, all of his weight then landing on top of Malice, I'm sure knocking the wind right out. To see again in Bruiser Wrestling, and I am sure, especially now with Akuma getting the victory, I'm sure propelling himself in the eyes of the championship committee here in Bruiser Wrestling. I'm sure we'll see him again, but Malice, impressive physical specimen. Bruiser, he's not done either.